trimming the lawn, caring for those roses. But then someone died, and things were never the same. So now they come by train, by bus, hitching a ride or any means necessary, with friends on a bike. Out of necessity, it's not where they were headed, but where they ended up. From the jail, from the shelter, from the hospital, and thrown out of home onto the street. I know. That makes sense. The sun will burn across the sky while birds of prey are flying high, and all the knees and planting seeds have taken. Not shaking our oh, welcome home to summer's home, the only home we've ever known, the only place we can retrace our lives. Perhaps a thing we can repair, regain, restore, and more and more and more, and oh. And all the days and seeds have
He remembers albums, huh?
600 viewers now? All of a sudden? Well, I hope you're one of the 600 that's tuned in. Over and over. It's 11 o'clock. It's time to vote like I said I was going to do. And here I am live on USTREAM, and I'm going to vote. Here's my writing surface. Here we are. Time to open my official ballot. I think it's the largest ballot they've had in the state before. Alright, there it is. It's completely empty. And in the ballot we have the return envelope. And then I'll put my name and address up here. And then on the back it says the election day, and look on. And it says return your ballot today, blah blah, read everything. And what it says actually is, might as well do this whole thing right? It has a declaration on it. It says, I do solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that I am a citizen of the United States, a legal resident of the state of Washington, at least 18 years old on election day, voting only once in this election, not under the authority of the Department of Corrections for a Washington felony conviction, not disqualified from voting due to court order. It is illegal to forge a signature or cast another person's ballot. Attempting to vote when not qualified, attempting to vote more than once, or falsely signing this declaration is a felony, punishable by a maximum imprisonment of 5 years, a maximum fine of $10,000 or both, and I don't want either one, so I'm doing my own, and that's all. Sign and date below required, it says. And so that's what I will do. And I will drop it off at the ballot box right here in Everett, about 6 blocks away from here. We'll do that in just a few minutes. There's a little pamphlet here called Additional Instructions. And it says accessible voting equipment is available during hours listed at Snohomish County Auditor's Office, Linwood Snow Isle Library, and the Medallion Hotel in Smoky Point in Arlington. That's new, it says. It says you have to put more return postage if you send it to the mail, so it's better to take it up here and drop it off, which I'm going to do, like I said. So what else did it say? It seems like it's different pieces. Okay. Additional instructions: place your voted ballot into the white secrecy envelope and seal. Place the sealed secrecy envelope into your return envelope. Sign your return envelope. All signatures are verified. Return your ballot as soon as possible. Option 1, provide sufficient postage. Option 2, bring your ballot to any 24-hour drop box. No postage required. It must be in the box before election day at 8 o'clock. Option 3, bring your ballot to one of our mobile drop boxes on the day they will be in your area. See the other side. Confirm your voted ballots have been received at number 4, Snowco Elections, so you can make sure that they got it. See, that's really cool. Call or email the elections office if your ballot is damaged, lost, or spoiled. Online voter guide available. I've already read mine. Snohomish County Elections, 3000 Rockefeller Avenue, MS 505 Everett, Washington, 98201. So if anybody wants to write them, that's where it's at. Oh, you want their phone number? Why would you want their phone number? If you want to call Everett, Washington and say anything about me or anything about my voting or doing this live on the air, you're more than welcome to. The phone is 425-388-3444. And there's a fax even if you want to tell them to fax off. It's 425-259-2777. Gosh. And on the other side it does have the mobile drop boxes, but we're going to have ours done, so. But if you want to take yours somewhere, here's the list. There you go. Okay. Click on another. I'm not going to do that. About the elections, it says. Getting crazy, isn't it? It's primary election. If a primary election was held for an office, the two candidates who receive the most votes in the primary advance to the general election. We've already done the primaries. Each candidate for partisan office may state a political party that he or she prefers. A candidate's preference does not imply that the candidate is nominated or endorsed by the party or that the party approves of or associates with that candidate. The election for president and vice president is different. Candidates for vice president and vice president are the official nominees of their political party. In other words, sorry Republicans, you're stuck with Trump. Sorry Democrats, we're stuck with, And there's accessible voting and all that stuff. Aha, we're getting to the nitty gritty, guys. Here we are, this is the secrecy envelope, which is pretty cool. And it says on the secrecy envelope, it says, on the secrecy envelope here, seal your voted ballot in this envelope. Place this envelope into your return envelope. If you forget to use the secrecy envelope, your ballot will still be counted. But this is just for a little extra protection, which is pretty cool. Ooh, 2 secrecy envelopes. What the heck? Why did I get 2? I did get 2 in my ballot here, guys. Do I need 2? There are 2 different things here? I don't know. It's a pretty thick guy here. By gosh, I think I'll put on glasses just so I make sure I don't make any mistakes. Vote with a single line. Do not use a felt pen. Voting more than once per question or race will cancel that vote. Refer that ballot insert for more details. How to change a vote. Draw a through line through the entire incorrect name or choice. You may then make another selection. Okay. How to vote for a person not on the ballot. Write the name of the person provided in the space provided and connect the dots. Connect the arrow. I'm sure we've all seen ballots before, right? I'm going to tell you, there is a lot of stuff in this one. It's both sides are full. That's a lot of stuff, man. Here's what it is, see? I hope you guys are ready for the long haul, because here it is. And here's my lighted pen that my buddy Les Fetchko got me. Isn't that pretty cool? It's very pretty. See? Check it out. Just writes like normal though, but it's kind of cool. And I figured I'll use it to vote today, so here we go. First thing. First thing is initiatives to the people. And it says, sorry about that, folks. It says, initiative measure number 1433 concerns labor standards. This measure would increase the state minimum wage to $11 in 2017, $11.50 in 2018, $12.19, and $13.50 in 2020. Require employers to provide paid sick leave and adopt related laws. Should this measure be enacted into law? Initiative measure number 1464 concerns campaign finance laws and lobbyists. This measure would create a campaign finance system, allow residents to direct state funds to candidates, repeal the non-resident sales tax exemption, restrict lobbying employment by certain former public employees, and add enforcement requirements. Should this measure be enacted into law? Let's try that one more time just to make sure we get it right. This measure, 1464, would create a campaign finance system, allow residents to direct state funds to candidates, repeal the non-resident sales tax exemption, restrict lobbying employment by certain former public employees, and add enforcement requirements. Well, it's interesting. Initiative Measure 1491 concerns court-issued extreme risk protection orders temporarily preventing access to firearms. This measure would allow police, family, or household member to obtain court orders temporarily preventing firearms access by persons exhibiting mental illness, violent or other behavior indicating they may harm themselves or others. Should this measure be enacted into law? Initiative Measure number 1501 concerns seniors and vulnerable individuals. This measure would increase the penalties for criminal identity theft and civil consumer fraud targeted at seniors or vulnerable individuals, and exempt certain individuals exempt certain information of vulnerable individuals and in-home caregivers from public disclosure. Should this measure be enacted into law? Initiatives to the legislature. So now we were to the people, now we're going to the legislature. Initiative Measure number 732 concerns taxes. This measure would impose a carbon emission tax on certain fossil fuels and fossil fuel-generated electricity, reduce the sales tax by 1 percentage point, and increase a low-income exemption and reduce certain manufacturing taxes. You know, see, that's a good idea, isn't it? Take from the bad guys and give to the good guys? Is that what it means, right? Next one is number 735, concerns a proposed amendment to the federal Constitution. This measure would urge the Washington State Congressional Delegation to propose a federal constitutional amendment that constitutional rights belong only to individuals, not corporations, and constitutionally protected free speech excludes the spending of money. In other words, Citizens United. We want to send a message that we are going to be against Citizens United in this state, is what that says, if you vote for it. Now we're on to advisory votes. Advisory number 14, House Bill 2768. The legislature extended without a vote of the people the insurance premium tax to some insurance for standalone family dental plans costing an indeterminate amount in the first 10 years for government spending. Extended without a vote of the people. That's interesting. I wonder why they would extend that. It's the legislature extended without a vote of the people the insurance premium tax. Okay, they extended the insurance premium tax to some insurance for standalone family dental plans costing an indeterminate amount in the first 10 years for government spending. What is the tax for? What's it used for? Government spending, but should this tax increase be repealed or maintained? You know, that's just a tough one right here. I have to admit, I'm not for taxes, man. I'm not. So I'm going to say repeal that tax because on dental plans, on standalone family dental plans. So I'm going to go against that. Then we got a second one. It's advisory vote 15. That was 14. Second engrossed substitute House bill 2778. The legislature imposed without a vote of the people. So the legislature imposed certain limitations on the retail sales and use tax exemptions for clean alternative fuel vehicles costing $2 million in the first 10 years for government spending. The legislature imposed without a vote of the people certain limitations on the retail sales and use exemptions tax for clean alternative fuel vehicles costing $2 million in the first 10 years for government spending. That's a little confusing, isn't it? But the way I understand this one is they're talking about clean fuel cars being exempt from gas taxes and taxes like that, so they're not chipping in, so to speak, to the road maintenance tax that we need to be paying, that we do get through the fuel tax, supposedly. You know, it fixed that bridge up there in Skagit County, right? But damn, it seems like they could figure out a better way to get this. Maybe make it a tax on the vehicle when you buy it, or maybe I'd make their tags more expensive. But see, then they're going to fight that one. You know, you cut these taxes, and they're going to fight them, and then no one's going to go back for them again, and so we're going to lose that funding. And we've got to figure out a way to fund these things. We already have our taxes cut so much. But it's called clean alternative fuel. Certain limitations on the retail sales and use tax exemptions. See, so I'm going to repeal that. That just didn't sound right. Proposed amendment to the state constitution, Senate Joint Resolution number 8210. The legislators proposed a constitutional amendment on the deadline for competing state legislature and congressional redistricting. This amendment would require the state redistricting commission to complete redistricting for state legislative and congressional districts by November 15th of each year, ending in a 46 each year ending in a 1 is like 1921 or 2021 rather, 46 days earlier than currently required. Should this be approved or rejected? Yeah, I think we need it done earlier as possible. The earlier we get this stuff done, the better, right? 50 years when somebody's looking back at this, I hope they're paying attention. Proposed amendment to the Snohomish County Charter. Proposition number 1. Commission on Human Rights. The Snohomish County Charter Review Commission has proposed amendments to the Snohomish County Charter concerning the County Commission on Human Rights. This proposition would add a new section to the charter that requires the county council to keep or create a county commission to advise the county council, county executive, and other county officers and agencies on matters concerning human rights and repeal inconsistent transition provisions. Should this be? Yes, it should be approved. Number 2, establishing office of public advocate. Now, this one kind of bothers me. I'm having a little bit of a problem with this one. But, Snohomish County Charter Review Commission has proposed amendments to the Snohomish County Charter concerning establishing an Office of Public Advocate. Proposition would direct the county council to establish an Office of Public Advocate to investigate complaints and respond to inquiries from the public concerning the operation of county government, and to monitor and to report on the county council and certain whistleblower ethics and human rights proceedings, and repeal inconsistent transition propositions. Should this proposition be this is tough. It really is. Do we need a public advocate? Isn't there somebody that can already be doing that job? I'm going to reject that. Number 3 is county policy on non-discrimination. Snohomish County Charter Review Commission has proposed amendments to the Snohomish County Charter concerning county policy on non-discrimination. This proposition would revise existing county policy on non-discrimination to incorporate protections provided by state and federal anti-discrimination laws and eliminate outdated or incomplete references to protected classes, substitute gender-neutral language for masculine pronouns, and repeal inconsistent transition provisions. Should this proposition be approved or rejected? A lot of work in there. Here's number 4. This is the third column of this first page. Proposition number 4, revising hearing examiner system in appeals. The Snohomish County Charter Review Commission has proposed amendments to the Snohomish County Charter concerning county council authority over appeals of certain administrative decisions. This proposition would restate the county council's existing charter authority to adopt a hearing examiner system, but eliminate the council's review on certain quasi-judicial land use or environmental proceedings and repeal inconsistent transition provisions. Should this proposition be approved or rejected? This proposition would restate the county council existing charter authority to adopt a hearing examiner system, but eliminate the council's review in certain quasi-judicial land use or environmental proceedings and repeal inconsistent transition. I like the repealing of inconsistent. Restate the county council's existing charter authority to adopt a hearing examiner system. Restate the county council's existing. Okay. Number 5, requiring additional county council hearings and meetings. Charter Review Commission has proposed amendments to the Snohomish County Charter concerning county council meetings and hearings. The proposition would require the council to hold an evening meeting in each county council district at least once in each calendar year. I think they ought to do it once a month. Are you kidding me? Proposed budget presented by the county executive on any proposed ordinance to adopt, amend, or repeal a county comprehensive plan and repeal inconsistent transitioning provisions. Should this? Yes, it should be, of course. Number 6, revising procedures for appointment, and confirmation of chief executive officers. Snohomish County Charter Review Commission has proposed amendments to the Snohomish County Charter concerning the procedures for appointment and confirmation of chief executive officers. The proposition would establish a 60-day county deadline for a county council action to confirm or reject appointments by the county executive, prohibit reappointment of rejected appointees for a period of 1 year, and repeal inconsistent provisions. I kind of like that one. The last one, page 1. Halfway done. Feel like I'm in a test in school. Number 7, revising county redistricting process. The Snohomish County Charter Review Commission has proposed amendments to the Snohomish County Charter concerning the process used for redrawing county council districts. The proposition would revise and update the process by setting workable deadlines for appointing districting committee and districting masters for action by the districting committee and county council, restrict the county council's ability to revise districting plans adopted by the districting committee by requiring approval by a supermajority vote and limiting revisions to the 1% of the population of any county district, and repeal inconsistent transition provisions, should this be approved or rejected. Hey, we're going to the actual elections now, guys. This is kind of cool. On this side, though, there's some more propositions, and that's what we're going to read first, because I'll wait for the good stuff here. Sound Transit, Regional Transit Authority, Proposition Number 1, light rail, commuter rail, and bus service expansion. This measure would expand light rail, commuter rail, and bus rapid transit service to connect population and growth centers, and authorize Sound Transit to levy or impose an additional 0.5% and use tax, a property tax of 25 cents or less per $1,000 of assessed valuation, additional 0.8% motor vehicle excise tax and use existing taxes to fund the local share of the $53.8 billion estimated cost, including inflation, with continuing independent audits as described in the Mass Transit Guide, should this measure be. Okay, folks, I've listened to a lot of stuff on both sides of this one, actually. And it's a tough one. Do I want taxes to go up? No, of course not. But do I want light rail? Do I want some other system so we'll be able to get around and not have to fight this traffic we've been fighting? I think this is what we have to do. I think we have to expand the light rail, commuter rail, and bus service expansion. You can take a train down to Seattle, there's no doubt about that. But if we had more options, it would make the cost of all of it go down. Competition is the name here. And I know that on KVI, I listen to it, and John Carlson talks about it all the time, and so does, what's that other character that he talks with all the time? They're against it. They're completely against it. But they don't have to fight this stuff. It's not their daily thing. I mean, yeah, they have to fight it to go into work, but it's not a big thing for you guys. You guys are getting paid enough that it really doesn't matter. We're talking about people that we're talking about people that will get fired from their job if they're late by a minute. But you guys won't get fired for it. They'll just run your other guy before you a couple minutes long. That's all. That's all they'll do. It's ridiculous. It's the rich people that are against it. Because you want more and more cars. Well, cars aren't the way to go, man. They're not the way to go in the future. Proposition number 3, adding a new section to the City of Everett Charter. The Everett County proposes adding new section of the City of Everett Charter. This proposition would require that appointments to city boards, commissions, and committees strive to reflect the makeup of the community in demographic terms such as ethnic diversity, gender, age, and geography. Should this be approved? Yes, it should be. Proposition number 2, amendment to the City of Everett Charter, Section 15.9, gender references, correction of scrivener's errors. City Council proposes this proposition would allow the city clerk to make corrections in the charter to eliminate archaic terminology such as hereof, there, heretofore, and here thereof, and replace such term with the equivalent modern language. Of course you can do that. It'd be crazy not to be able to do that. Number 1 amendment. This proposition would eliminate the weekly council meeting requirement, permit the meeting to be held at location within the city other than City Hall, and eliminate inconsistency and redundancy with state law. It would eliminate the weekly council meeting requirement. See, I don't like that part of it. I like everything else in there. I like permitting the meeting to be held at locations within the city other than City Hall. That way they could do it at the college, they could do it at the library. But to not be able to have it every meeting, I think they need to have it I think it needs to be every week, and I think they have to have it in the evenings like they were talking about. I think it's... So I got to vote no just because I don't want to reduce the meetings at all. Commissioner District 3, Public Utility District Number 1, Nonpartisan Office. Commissioner District 3. Now see, it's a 6-year term, vote for 1. And there's a Tony Olson, or a Gordon Sibley. Now what do you do in that case? If you don't know him, if you don't know anything about it. Do you still vote? Do you write in somebody? Do I write in Matt Begley? Superior Court, Nonpartisan Office. It's nonpartisan. Judge position 3, 4-year term. Cindy Larson and Rico Tessendore. And that's a real tough one right there. See, if I don't know, or if I think they're both equally qualified, basically, then I look at the person and I say, okay, first of all, is it a woman? Well, we got that with Cindy Larson. But ethnic. I like people other than white people. White people have been in charge way too long. And Rico Tessendore is probably not Caucasian. Cindy Larson probably is, but she's a girl, she's a female. And men have been screwing things up way too long. It's a judge, man. I'm going to go with Rico. The next one, Court of Appeals, Nonpartisan Office, 6-year term, District 1, Division 1, District 2, Position 1. There's only one person on the list, and that's Steve Dwyer. Steve, I don't know you. I don't dislike you at all. But I have a friend that would be really good at this job. And he's really not doing anything right now, so we'll do that one. Judge Position 6. 6-year term, Charles Charlie Wiggins or Dave Larson. Well, I got a call from a former Seattle Seahawk last night. Judge Disposition 5 is a 6-year term, Barbara Madsen or Greg Zempel. Barbara, good luck. Position 1, State Supreme Court, Nonpartisan Office. This is Mary Yu or David D. Wolf. I've got a really good friend that has a name like that, David DeWitt. If it was you, Dave, you know that I'd be voting for you. But Mary, I hope you have the best of luck. We've got the 38th, we got Legislative Partisan Office, Position 1, 38th District, Position 1. Only one person is listed, that's June Robinson. prefers Democrat Party, so I will give it that because she is female and Democrat. 38th District, Representative Position 2, we have Mike Sells, it's a 2-year term, or Bert Johnson, who prefers the Independent Party. That's interesting. I vote Democrat all the time. I have to do it. I'm going straight blue as much as I can, guys. We're at the Insurance Commissioner, Mike Kreidler or Richard Schrock. Well, Mike Kreidler's been there for a while, and he's a Democrat. We have Superintendent of Public Instruction. It's a nonpartisan office. It's a 4-year term. We've got Aaron Jones, and we've got a Chris Reykdal, R-E-Y-K-D-A-L, Reykdal. Yeah, it's Reykdal. Commissioner of Public Lands, it's a 4-year term. Vote for 1, Steve McLaughlin, Hillary France. Well, Hillary's not my favorite person. Don't get me wrong when I vote for these people. State Partisan Office, Attorney General, 4-year term. Bob Ferguson or Joshua Trumbull. Well, if you find out who the Democrat is, you can probably figure out who it is I'm voting for. We have the Auditor, 4-year term. Mark Militia or Patrice McCarthy. Don't trust the name McCarthy very much, do you? Treasurer, Dwayne Davidson or Michael Waite, W-A-I-T-E. And I have a friend that, named Dave Davidson. If he was that guy, I wouldn't vote for him for treasurer. I might give him, I'd give him Secretary of State because he's a good talker. But Michael Waite looks like a good choice here. Secretary of State, Kim Wyman or Tina Podolowski. Well, Lieutenant Governor, Cyrus Habib or Marty McClendon. It's a 4-year term. Governor, State Partisan Officer Governor, 4-year term. Bill Bryant or Jay Inslee. I'm voting blue all the way, folks. Rick Larson, State Representative, Congressional District 2, Rick Larson or Mark Henneman. Ah, here we are. Right here's his name. And I said I'll do this for you. Tyler Miles Vega. Tyler Miles Vega. There you go, dude. I just wrote you in. Just like I said I'd do. Remember that when I said that? When you were up here at the rally here at Clark Park, Tyler? Remember that? Come on now. Don't forget that. We're getting to the big ones, folks. Getting to the big ones here, finally. We're at the senator. And when you get to be the senator, that's an important position. And so I'm going to have to take a hit and think about this for just a half a second. What do you think? Patty Murray or Chris Vance? And it says, Each candidate for president and vice president is the official nominee of a political party. For other partisan offices, each candidate may state a political party that he or she prefers. A candidate's preference does not imply that the candidate is nominated or endorsed by the party, or that that party approves of or associates with that candidate. So for president, we have Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine in the Democrat Party. In the Republican Party, we have Donald J. Trump and Michael R. Pence. The Socialist Workers' Party nominee is Allison Kennedy and Osborne Hart. The Socialism and Liberation Party nominees are Gloria Estella-Riva and Eugene Puryear, or Puryear. The Green Party nominees are Jill Stein and Ajima Baraka. The Constitution Party nominees are Darrell Castle and Scott N. Bradley. And the Libertarian Party is Gary Johnson and Bill Weld. Well, folks, there's several of these people that I would like to talk to. This Allison Kennedy would be interesting. This Gloria Estella-Riva from the Social and Liberation Party. I would really like to get them involved heavily in their cities and their counties. That's where they need to be really fighting right now. Get to your cities and really give that a fight. And I'll even say that about Jill Stein and Darrell Castle. Not take over, but get into a city, an area, take over a state, get a whole state that's a Constitution Party state. We already have a libertarian state. It's called Kansas. Look what's happening to them. They're so far in debt that they've got to borrow from us. We're going to have to pay this off, the rest of us, for what they did, for the breaks that the Koch family got. For God's sake, come on. There's nothing wrong with the two-party system, and it's not two parties. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parties right here. It's not a two-party system. Okay, now I've made all my votes. And I fold my pieces up and I tear these pieces off, I believe, right? Did I tear this one off? No, I don't tear off the bottom, just tear off the top, okay. Flip both sides and remove the stub. Here's the stub. Okay. No place I have to sign on here, right? Do I sign on the ballot anywhere? Okay, yeah, that's right. This part is completely the list of the people and organizations that donated to the state and local candidates and ballot measuring campaigns. Visit www.pdc.wa.gov.com, obviously. And it doesn't have any place on here for me to sign, because that keeps it anonymous, right? Then I take that. Put this into the secrecy ballot. Maybe they do that just in case you messed the secrecy ballot up once or something. Okay. There we are. And I initialed the back of the secrecy ballot just for the hell of it. Then I put it in the real ballot. Yeah, pretty cool, right? Read the declaration. I read that a little while ago. Sign and take below. And today is the 28th. 10/28/2016. Four, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2. That's right. Okay. And on the back, I will see. I did sign it. There we are. Don't you dare. And I sealed it. And I put my return address up there. And of course, my return address would be why is my pen quit? I don't put that, that's why. There we are. I think it's appropriate that I did it on the Bob Dylan album, right? Made my votes on the Bob Dylan album. How many people have albums? Anybody else got albums? And so now